We'll start the homily today with just a quick update on the Glasser match. If you saw, we had a new meter out there tracking that says we're at 23 and change. That's deceptively low. It's actually quite a bit higher than that now. That was the number we had in hand as of Thursday night, with another 12,000 or so pledged. That put us to 35.5 toward that 100,000. And last night after Mass, somebody told me they would have a $20,000 check for me on Monday to go toward that as well. I did verify that they meant $20,000 for me to put toward the campaign, not in my own bank account. They did want it for the school campaign, so that puts us at a little over 55,000 accounted for out of that $100,000 match, just 17 days into our 90-day period for that. So we are making great progress on that, and if we keep chipping away at it, whether you can donate $5 or $1,000, or if you can do a match of the match for 100, every donation that we get toward that gets us closer to our goal of getting that school for our students and our CCD students and St. Catherine CCD students. So if we keep making that progress, I'm more and more confident each day we'll get that school built sooner rather than later. Today's feast is the Ascension of the Lord, and I think we sometimes view that as a bit of a throwaway feast day in the church. We don't really think about it too much. We kind of think of it just as Jesus's beam me up Scotty moment, right? He's done with his ministry on earth, and now he is going back to the right hand of his Father. But it's truly a feast day that means so much more for us if we look at the readings that are accompanied with it. First, it's not just Jesus saying that his ministry is over. It's him ascending to his throne. It's him saying that my kingdom has been established and now I am ruling over that kingdom. We heard in our responsorial psalm that the Lord mounts his throne to shouts of joy. Right? Jesus' kingdom is now at hand for us. And we see that in this kingdom, it's now doing the work that kingdoms do. We see in history, kingdoms always have a desire to expand, to grow. We see kingdoms go forth and conquer other kingdoms. And what our Lord desires to conquer is not land, it's not wealth, it's not prosperity for himself, but rather he desires to conquer souls for salvation. He desires to bring more souls into the kingdom of heaven. This is the work of our Lord that he began in his earthly ministry and that he calls us to continue. So in today's feast, we see both a calling to us in our future and something that we're called to now. Yes, we are called to go where our head has gone before, that we're called to enter fully into the life of Christ. And for us, that means baptism, carrying the cross, and through those, entering into the resurrection and ascension. We are called at some point to enter into the reality of heavenly life. And that's the first thing that this feast day calls us to. It calls us to remember that we are not called merely to live on this earth. We're not called merely to the suffering and the pain and the heartache that can happen here, but we're called to something greater. We're called to follow our Lord in that gift of ascension. But in the midst of showing us this great promise, our Lord gives us marching orders, right? He tells us here in the gospel at his ascension to go forth and make disciples of all nations, to baptize them and to teach them to observe all that I've commanded you, right? He's essentially telling us to go out and conquer souls for my kingdom, to bring more people to the gift of salvation that I offer. So as we look forward to the great gift of heaven that our Lord promises, we know that we have marching orders as well. We have work to be done as the hands and the feet of Christ on earth. And we see this reflected in our first reading as well, that St. Luke in Acts of the Apostles says that after the ascension, the apostles are standing there and they're kind of staring up into the sky where Jesus had ascended to. And these angels come and they say, "Why are you looking up to the sky? Jesus will come back from where he went." And we hear that and we think, no, that doesn't really make sense. Jesus just went up into the sky and they're looking for him there. Isn't that where they should look? The point the angels are making here is that Jesus told you to go out and prepare for his second coming. He gave you a task to do. Don't just sit and idly wait for the Lord, but rather prepare your heart and prepare those that you encounter for his second coming. And so on this Feast of the Ascension, we look forward with joy to what God calls us to in our future, and we look with confidence toward the task that is given to us to go out and evangelize through the example of our life and through our words of preaching. Let us have great faith that God will give us the strength to carry out this mission of bringing all nations to him. Let us have a great faith that our Lord will keep his promise to bring us to himself in the great joy of heaven. And let us celebrate today the crowning of our Lord as King of heaven and earth here on this Feast of the Ascension.